There was a house that had been locked up during the whole Civil War onslaught thing there, and so I wanted to go pick the lock and see who or what did it. Turned out to be a boy wanting me to get revenge.
At last we will have revenge.
Okay, I might could do this. I mean, I know I just retired, but you know what harm could one little contract do? And so, day 101, I'm down in Riften. That kid was right. This lady is pretty mean. Turns out she does need a swift arrow to the face. Or, you know, maybe a misplaced one. It wouldn't be so bad. I mean, after all, it's for the kids. Spend the rest of the day traveling back to Windhelm because, you know, just traveling, that's what you do when you're retired. You know, 2 days, looking at nature, riding on a horse. That sounds pretty retired to me. Day 102, I started traveling to the Golden Glow Estate. There is a job that the Thieves Guild had given me long ago, and I kind of felt like I'd owed them one for the help that they'd given me in dealing with the dragons.
I owe you one.
But on my way, I found an old ally of Alduin, so I slayed him up something nice. And I guess there was some confusion, because next thing I know, there's a mammoth and a giant chasing me, and well, I guess now I'm not as retired as I thought I was, because I spend the rest of my days running from these two, and then trying to break into Golden Glow Estate, and, you know, start burning some beehives. Day 103, I woke up in a strange cabin in the middle of nowhere. This is a little too reminiscent of when this whole dragon business started and whatnot, but, this lady wanted me to slay one of 3 people, you know, talk to them, see which sounds guilty. But honestly, they all sound guilty, so I chose the easy option and just took them all out. After this, I went home to drop off all the animal pelts and whatnot that I had collected, and get my portion of profits from the shop. I mean, you know, check on the wife, because, yeah, responsibility at its finest. Anyways, I finally rode my horse down to Falkreath so I could check out this secret door. Turns out it's a club of crazies that act as mercenaries. Didn't see that one coming. Day 104, I was given contracts by the so-called Dark Brotherhood, which wasn't the most difficult task ever, given I'd already slain, you know, dragons and taken down entire armies, but it kind of let me live out my glory days in a sort of softer manner, so that's good enough for me for now. And on day 105, I was slaying the last of these little contracts in Dawnstar. I'm honestly getting so good at this one, I completed it in the middle of town in broad daylight. Talk about assassination.
I've mastered the ability of standing so incredibly still that I've become invisible to the eye. Watch.
I also visited my old shopkeeper friend and we caught up. And by caught up, I mean I, you know, took everything from his shop. He doesn't need it, trust me. Day 106, I traveled back to the Dark Brotherhood HQ and turned in my contracts. Turns out there was a strange clown giving everybody a pep talk when I got back, and well, he seemed a little off his rocker, but I mean, come on, who isn't in this place, right? We're all murdering people for the sake of gold and, well, really just the fun of it. Anyways, I got paid, so who cares about them? They're all crazy. Day 107, I'm in Markarth to carry out another contract. Woman said she wants me to travel to Windhelm to take someone out. Some old bandit guy that lied to her, I'm not sure. But that's all the way across Skyrim. Like, all the way.
That's going too far.
And on day 108, I finally made it to Windhelm. So weary from my travels all day, I just turned around and slept all day. Shut up, I'm not old, you're old. And on day 109, after oversleeping from my nap, I woke up in the twilight hours of the night. Which is fun, because that's the best time to get the drop on someone anyways, you know what I mean? But I also forgot how cold Skyrim could be and almost passed out from being that cold. It's a wee bit chilly up here in the mountains. To make matters worse, I was right beside 2 frost trolls, and I don't have to explain to you what would have happened if I had went unconscious next to those 2 beasts. So I booked it to the closest settlement and snuck in to warm up and wait till morning. After this, I snuck into the bandit's lair and took him out easy enough, but there seems to be more to this lair. I'm gonna get a good night's rest and continue exploring. Day 110, after resting in my fallen foe's bed, I decided to travel deeper into these Dwemer ruins. Fought everything from bandits and old machines to blind snow elves today. I think that's what the Falmer are, at least, right? Blonde snow elves? Whatever. Day 111, I traveled back across Skyrim to Markarth. I'm starting to sense a theme here. Anyways, I wanted to receive payment for my contract, and payment's what I got. Around 1,000 gold and a ring. This line of work pays a lot better than dragon hunting, I will tell you that. Nobody ever actually gave me money for hunting dragons. Good job, here's a sword, here's a shield. But of course, if I didn't already have that, I wouldn't be able to slay the dragon, so never really made much sense to me. Day 112, I returned to the Dark Brotherhood and talked to Astrid. She, you know, the leader, the one that trapped me in the cabin. Yeah, anyways.
Dear brother, I need you to steal into that chamber and eavesdrop on their meeting.
What? Snuck in anyways and discovered some crazy stuff. Either that or I've been drugged and tripping this entire time, because this crazy zombie lady just talked to me. Day 113, I was carrying out contracts for Nazir again, because apparently Astrid needed some time to think. I don't really like the idea of that, because it's either a yes or no question, answer, you know what I mean. You don't need time to think, you just act. Kind of felt like busy work, so yeah. I hate busy work. Just because I'm retired, you don't have to fill up my schedule with nonsensical bandit slaying. Day 114, I was back down to the Dark Brotherhood to turn in my worksheets, or I mean contracts, because they were difficult, they were really hard. I mean, slaying these people was just, alright, I can't do this. After this, I returned home to drop off my loot's travels, take a nap, but I was ambushed as I tried to leave, so I ran. And separated the attackers off one by one, and then I started slaying the only way I know how, stealthily and, well, by using dirty tricks. Day 115, I was meeting with Montier. I think that's how you say his name, I might be saying that a little wrong. Anyways, I got a super ultra mega contract. He wants me to assassinate the Emperor. Yeah, Tamriel, like the big head honcho guy. Think I might have gotten in a little over my head with this one. Crazy talking zombie lady, man wanting me to murder the Emperor. Yeah. Either that or I was born to topple people in power. I mean, this would be my third big ruler to take down and probably the second most powerful. And on day 116, I'm off to Riften. I gotta go get this amulet appraised by someone in the Thieves Guild, and, well, luckily I already had some business I needed to tie up with them, so this wouldn't be a completely pointless trip across Skyrim again. Tell you, these Dark Brotherhood fools, they just really want you to tour Skyrim. Maybe they have a secret lineup with the carriage system, you know what I mean? They get a little cut of the profits. Anyways, I also spoke to Maven Blackbriar while I was here, because apparently she's the top head honcho person in Riften. And I got another mission for the Thieves Guild. That's good, because they pay me pretty swell as well. Man, all this back and forth, though, is really starting to get annoying. I'm missing my days of adventuring and traveling through dungeons, slaying enemies, you know, being fierce. I can't feel too fierce when I got a bunny riding alongside my cart all day and carriage driver talking about, have you ever seen the Great Hall? Have you ever seen a dragon skull? Day 117, I was back to the Dark Brotherhood. Time for me to discuss how we can take down the Emperor, and apparently I gotta go crash a wedding. This is gonna feel a little wrong. Hope the bride doesn't hate me. Get it? Cause she's the one that I'm taking out. Anyways, day 118, I'm in Solitude. I haven't been here since dealing with the whole Civil War nonsense, and I gotta say it's good to be back. This is by far one of my favorite cities in Skyrim. I mean, the architecture, the lively, bustling city life. You gotta love it. Shame I gotta cause some mayhem here, though, because, you know, I really like this city, and after I do what I do, they're all gonna hate me, and I'm gonna have to pay a bounty, and they're gonna take me to prison. In order to get rid of my victim, I managed to push a In order to get rid of my victim this time, I was just pushing a loose statue off. But apparently everyone knew it was me after I pushed it, because as soon as I did, I became alerted to the entire town what I looked like, and that they needed to take me out. Don't know how, given I was hidden when I did it, but whatever, I'm not gonna argue with mechanics. Day 119, I traveled to Whiterun. I was gonna drop off all my stolen items that I had, because I knew when I went back to Solitude, they were gonna confiscate them, whether I paid them the fine or not, which, you know, hey, fair enough. But I didn't want all my keys to get stolen. Unfortunately, keys are the only thing that I forgot to put in this chest. You know, we'll address this later. Day 120, I'm traveling down to Dragon's Bridge to start following my target. It's the Emperor Security's son or something. It's some convoluted scam, but you know, hey, it's gonna work. Anyways, I took him out as soon as he got into solitude, and then planted some incriminating evidence, and slept my worries away. Because apparently they know when I murder someone in their wedding, but they don't when I murder them in the middle of the street. Whatever. Day 121, back to the Dark Brotherhood to report. Back and forth and back and forth. Apparently the Jester went crazy while I was gone, started attacking and slashing everybody, and then fled. It's kind of funny, not gonna lie, but apparently Astrid is being a bit sketch as well. She's not fully telling me everything, and well, in our line of work, that's not good. You know, that's when you go out back and they try to tie up the loose ends. I'm not a loose end, I'm the Dragonborn. I'll tie you up. Day 122, I was off to Dawnstar. Time to go find Cicero and Anborn, Astrid's husband, the werewolf guy. Yeah, I'm bad with names. Anyways, might as well pay a, visit to our old shopkeeper friend, see what he's got in store. I found the werewolf guy bleeding outside of a crypt, and after going deeper inside, I found Cicero bleeding out. But I decided to let him live, because even though he was completely crazy, he's not wrong. Astrid is a little sketch herself, so maybe I can trust him a bit more than I can trust her. Day 123, it's back to the Dark Brotherhood. That's all I have in my notes, so I must have just slept or not done anything. Maybe I talked to somebody. I'm not really sure. Oh well. 124 to Markarth. Time to go speak to a man who knows the identity of this top secret gourmet chef. Again, this is a convoluted scheme in which I have to go from one person to another person, back and forth, and anyways, I found out who the chef was, and then I tied up the loose ends. That means I murdered the man that told me his identity. Anyways, it was easy enough. This was a civilian. Honestly, these missions, starting to question the integrity of them, and well, myself. Day 125, found the cook. Easy enough. Dropped him like a sack of potatoes. Get it? A little cooking joke in there for you. Anyways, I hid the body so nobody should find it for a while, and since nobody really knows his identity, even when they do find it, they may not know who he was. I guess you could say I was letting him steep in peace. Another cooking joke. Day 126, you guessed it, back to the Dark Brotherhood. Dang, I don't know why I always gotta report, don't you trust me? Once I take out the Emperor, I might take a little adventure vacation. After this, I went to Solitude to kill the Emperor, but turns out it wasn't the real guy, so I just poisoned this poor imposter. Say that 3 times fast. And also, this was all a setup. Somebody at the Dark Brotherhood sold me out. I'll bet it was Astrid. She was being pretty sketch when I left. Anyways, after fleeing from Solitude again, day 127, I was back down to the Dark Brotherhood. Time to go see who the hell just tried to, take me out. And serve some justice. AKA, I'm gonna melt their head in my home. Turns out it was Astrid. I knew it. Tried to do me in the entire time. She was just jealous because I was getting all the attention ever since I arrived. But she got what she deserved in the end. Now I have to finish this whole thing up by myself. That's alright. I'm about to become the king of the Dark Brotherhood, or the emperor, the say-so, the listener. I guess that's what I'm called. 128, snuck onto the emperor's ship, slayed my way through all the guards, and finished the deed. But I gotta admit, this emperor guy's pretty chill. If it wasn't for this contract, I probably would have let him live too. But the emperor did request that I go slay the man who set the contract up as a dying favor. Now, that I can do for the old man. 1, I feel bad for you. 2, you're right, whoever set this up probably was a little sleazy. 129, talked to Motir and received the location of my payment. Then I tied up the last loose end. Yeah, that's Motir, taking him out. Turns out the man was also loaded with precious gems. And the reward? 20,000 septum. Oh, nice. That may have been worth all the back and forth after all. I didn't really see that one coming. Now I have my own sanctuary as well being the leader of the Dark Brotherhood. Couldn't ask for a better upgrade, really. Day 130, I'm down to Riften. Time to get Devin Mallory to fix up the Dark Brotherhood. Coincidentally, he also works for the Thieves Guild, so maybe I can take care of some business on that front at the same time. I don't think so. I think they still need me to go do a favor or something. Anyways, with all that stuff out of the way, I'm taking a break from those whack jobs. No more murder or assassin missions, go here, go there, go all around. After I go see how the base looks, which was technically early into the next day, I'm gonna call it on this clattering around business. Day 131, back to the Dark Brotherhood to see the new changes. So much traveling across Skyrim. I'm telling you, my butt's getting sore from riding in all these carriages. I don't really appreciate it. Maybe I can start bringing a pillow or something. And on 132, a dragon attacked me as I was trying to leave the city. Haven't seen one of those in a while, but I guess, yeah, they do still exist. A few detachments of Alduin gotta be here and there, you know what I mean? Anyways, I served him his justice and sucked up his soul like a nice little soup. 133, I returned home to drop off all my loot, and I didn't mean for that to rhyme with the last line, but it's cool that it did. Also check in on the wife, something. I got money. My house is starting to get fat with treasures. No wonder every time I go to leave, I get jumped by bandits. It's kind of annoying, but also kind of adds to the loot. It's a loot loop. It's a loop of loot. 134, I'm off to Windhelm. I hear there's a ship there that can take you far away, to an island that's not necessarily attached to Skyrim. Not even really part of the same continent. And I need a change of pace from this snowy place, so sign me up. And, you know, maybe keeping my head down for a bit after slaying the Emperor and the Emperor's, like, daughter or cousin. I'm not quite sure what the relation was there, anyways. I should probably get out of town for a little bit. Let the whole murdering thing blow over. And we're off to Solstheim. Seems like they got some weird conspiracy stuff going on here. They all keep talking about something that they don't really want to talk about, or like they have knowledge that they don't want to share. I'm going to take a deeper look, mostly for the adventure aspect. Like I said, I'm longing for some more, enemy slaying quest in action. I'm tired of that back and forth slaying civilians. That just feels a little wrong. Day 135, I'm down in the Temple of Mirak. Mirak, by the way, he was the first Dragonborn, just to let you know, a little clue into what's going on. Trying to figure out why everybody is mind-controlled out the wazoo up top. And after fighting my way through some of the most leveled Draugr I've ever seen, I found a black book. It had insane value. I mean, seriously, 2,000 gold for a book? Should have started this one ages ago. Figured I'd take it, try to sell it, but when I picked it up, it was like I was teleported to another dimension full of Cthulhu-looking monsters and Mirak himself. He told me his evil plan, which kind of seemed like the wrong idea given I'm here to stop him, but sure. 136, cleared some of these worship stones around Solstheim, the shrines or whatever that were mind-controlling people. But every time I break one, a giant fish creature pops out and starts attacking. Again, the story here is crazy, and I'm not quite sure how we go from big fish creatures and Cthulhu-looking monsters to shrines. Also traveled to this huge mushroom building, which, again, all trippy, super duper trippy. And I wanted to talk to a wizard about the black book that I'd found. Apparently he'd had more knowledge on it, and, well, I want to see what's up. This whole traveling to another dimension thing, now that's adventure. After I talked to the wizard, it was off to an old Dwemer ruin. Boy, I miss these. These are actually full of enemies. Great times, rolling around, stealthing, arrow slaying, arrow shooting. I'm not sure. Day 137, I'm still down in the ruins trying to solve puzzles with cubes. After finishing the puzzle and reading another black book, I was transported back to that creepy realm from before. But this time, it was like a giant puzzle in and of itself. Great. Love puzzles when I'm trying to play an adventure game. Anyways, Hermamora, or Hermaeus Morris, is apparently the one that's behind all of this. Some all-powerful, all-knowing thingy. Anyways, he asked me to go reveal the secrets of the skull. Apparently it's some information that he doesn't currently have. 138, I was talking to the leader of the skull, and we had decided together that I needed to destroy the rest of the shrines going around the island. So I went to the one closest to Raven Rock, took it down, and this time it ended up spawning up 2 lurkers, the big fish monster things. So yeah, apparently these things get more powerful as I destroy more of them. That's not necessarily that good. After this, I decided to return to Skyrim to drop off all the loot I had accrued, which seems, you know, kind of like a lot. 800 carry weight sounds like you can almost carry everything in the game till you fill it up and decide, well, nothing's worth dropping really, so gotta go home. Day 139, I was packing everything away in the house, saying goodbye to the wifey, and returning to Windhelm so I can catch the ship back to Solstheim. I'm not quite done there yet, and you know, I just needed a little bit of extra carry weight room, so yeah, this was just like a little detour. Day 140, going to cleanse the last stone shrine on the island. This time I had a dragon attack me as I was trying to fight the lurkers, so I had 2 pretty big foes gunning me down at the same time. But that's alright, cause you know, I can definitely handle them. I'm dragonborn and my bow's very strong. Anyways, after this I returned to the skull. I did as they asked. Now they should do the favor that I'm asking, which is, you know, give up a little bit of the knowledge. Day 141, turns out Hermamora, actually lying, completely slaughtered that priest. Whoops, sorry Skull. Anyways, I dove back into another black book and had to go through a whole nother puzzling process. I'll be happy when I don't have to come back to this ugly realm anymore, I can tell you that much for sure. But I finally made it to the end of this black book and found Mirek himself. He's going down, I'm telling you this for sure. And so after a huge battle of fisticuffs, I ended up coming out on top. Yeah, spoiler alert. And I gotta say, it was much more difficult than Alduin. Like seriously, this game, maybe this OG Dragonborn should have been the main boss to begin with, because this was actually a difficult fight. That big dragon where I had 3 other people helping me and it was never attacking me was not. He kept healing himself and he would slay my ghostly companions like they were nothing. But after a few potions and poisons, I managed to take him down, or rather, Hermamora took him down for me. And you know, he had some pretty good loot on him. Like the whole mask and armor and everything. 142, with Mirek having been defeated, I decided it was time for me to head home. I'd done quite a bit for this island as far as freeing it and discovering its old, you know, ancient history or whatever. And I also had a ton of dragon bones and scales that I needed to go drop off. So, you know, back to go put my loot away. Also, Mirek went from being a super strong and powerful OG Dragonborn to now he's just a mannequin in my house. Isn't that ironic? Day 143, well, my sense of adventure definitely got filled in those long hours in the tombs, so I think for now, I'm going to travel back into Skyrim and see what mischief I can cause here for a while. And by that, I mean work on my enchanting skills and stash all my stolen loot, so I can return to Solitude, pay my bounty, and not lose it. Because, you know, they confiscate all your stuff, like I said earlier. Even if you pay them, it doesn't make any sense. Day 144, I started my day by going to Dawnstar. Wanted to visit that shop again. Can you blame a guy? It's like free stuff, and, well, realistically, this is where I get all my soul gems, so... yeah. After that, I went over to Morthal to grab a few more things from the friendly blacksmith over there. Then I realized all my stolen keys were actually still in the Solitude dungeon when they arrested me the first time. Yep, told you I'd have to go back for them later. Day 145, gotta go sneak in and steal those keys back. It feels a bit ironic sneaking into a jail cell to steal keys, but you know, these are the only copies of these keys, so I gotta go get them because these chests won't open by picks. You actually have to have the key there, and the only way to get it is to steal it off the shopkeeper, and once it's gone, it's gone. Day 146, on my way home, I decided to stop off in Whiterun. Had some business for the Thieves Guild, and I needed to take care of it there. This job consisted of mostly hunting down large rats and a homeless man living in an underground tunnel system. I would equate it to a sewer if, well, Skyrim had sewers. Anyways, after setting up the brewery owner that had asked me to go poison the rats in the first place, I decided it was time to head home and drop my loot off once more. I'm telling you, I get a lot of loot from all the stuff that I'm doing, all these adventures. Day 147, I started my day by checking over my skills and reallocating some of my old tricks. Basically, I just made my sneak skill legendary. Those of you missing the point, Anyways, after messing with my skills a bit, I decided to head to Winterhold. I'd been given a task from a crazy mage that aided me in taking down Alduin long ago, and I wanted to go see, basically what was going on with him. Finish the mission he had given me. 148, once I was in the snowy rubble they call a town, I wanted to get started on my pickpocketing skills right away. So I looted the town a bit, and by looted, I went and cut purse everybody. Then I made my way for our crazy old friend Septimus. That's the one that was hidden out in the glacier, that wanted all the different kinds of elf blood. Well, I finally have it, and I want to go see what he can do with it. And drumroll please! Turns out he was able to open that big cube box thing. And it's another one of Herman Moore's black books. Also, Septimus got shocked to dust as soon as he entered, so it's a little sad, because, he's just a crazy man out in the ice doing basically nothing. But the book basically leveled up all of my skills in one category, so that was really nice. Just wish I'd known that before I chose, because, I could have chose wrong. Day 149, I spent majority of the day hunting wild animals in the woods. I was trying to get my sneak back up at least a little bit so people would stop turning around and saying, hey, what are you doing crouching behind me? Because that's, really annoying. Also looted the local town to get my pickpocketing, just a little bit higher. And of course, all this was just a distraction, because working on my enchanting gets boring. I mean, who wants to sit at a table all day imbuing items that allow me to carry extra mammoth tusk or two? Certainly not I, so, gotta go out and do some different stuff. Then we'll come back to it later. And on that note, I spent day 150 traveling down to Riften. I want to get this Thieves Guild business squared away. And if I can rise in ranks here like I did the Dark Brotherhood, I'll have every thief and assassin in Skyrim under my liege. I'm still the good guy though, trust me, I think it's better if I'm in power. Day 151, there's a contact in Solitude I gotta go meet for the Thieves Guild, which is fine by me. As I've said before, this is by far one of my favorite cities in Skyrim, if not my favorite. So I never mind visiting it. But this time, instead of using a carriage to get me there, I'm gonna ride my Shadowmere, that's my horse, all the way there, from Riften. That's right, Riften to Solitude on nothing but a horse. I want to see how long it takes me, because of course whenever you use the carriage system or quote-unquote fast travel, it takes about 2 days, which is a lot, it's a lot. So, along my journey, of course, there were a few detours here and there, stopping to see new towns I'd never been to, taking down some bandits I thought I'd already taken care of, and of course we passed Whiterun along the way. I was tempted to hop on a carriage then, because halfway there, hey, I did pretty good, I could probably stop now. But I persisted, which is good because I ended up seeing another dragon in Rorikstead, and hey, I'll always take another dragon soul and a few bones, never hurt anybody. After some shenanigans of taking control of the dragon with my shouts somehow though, my horse ended up fighting a guard. That's okay, because he came out on top. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Anyways, after reaching Dragon's Bridge, I was only a short minute from Solitude. I realized this trip only took me 8.5 hours Skyrim time, with 2 pretty big detours in there, like pretty sizable. If I had taken a carriage, like I said, this would have taken me 2 days. What the hell are they doing on those trips? Stopping off, having some lunch, sleeping at the local tavern? How does it take 2 days to get across Skyrim? Day 152? Spent the entire day traveling back to Riften. Cause, yeah, I'm going the lazy way this time. You think I'm gonna ride from Riften to Solitude every time I need to get from city to city? You're crazy. This carriage system, while it may be slow, it's nice. It's nice to sleep on the way. And just as a little side note, it actually takes over 24 hours to fast travel back. So, yeah, 4.5 hours with no distractions on a horse can get us from Solitude to Riften. Or over 24 if we go by carriage. That seems fair enough to me, I guess. Anyways. 153, I talked to Mercer about the thief that had betrayed the guild. Apparently one had hit us way back in the day, and that's when our bad luck started. And then I hit the hay because I was exhausted from riding in that snail carriage all the way here. Somehow, I don't know why I can't sleep, but the carriage driver can. 154, I returned home to stow away a little bit more of my goods and picked up my profits from the store. Gotta say, it's nice coming home to just an extra 1,000 septims every now and then. So, you know, I guess having a wife's pretty good, all things considered. I don't hardly ever see her. She always pays me. 155, finally got my enchanting to level 80, which means I can place 2 enchantments on the same item. That's pretty cool, and it means that I can make some super broken armor. So, now I'm gonna go work on my alchemy a bit, and that's when I've realized you can't enchant things to make your enchantments better, which is, you know, that seems obvious, but it's nice to get it out the way because that would be an infinite loop, and yeah. But you can make potions to make your enchantments better, and you can make enchantments to make your potions better. Therefore, there is an infinite upgrade loop here. But I don't really have the time nor patience for it, so I'll just sort of upgrade my stuff to the highest point that I can, and we'll be on our way. And I mean the clean way. Day 156 is off to find Mercer, find out what's going on with this whole Thieves Guild mischief hoopla. We had ventured through an old tomb where apparently this whole ordeal had started many years ago. And yes, it was infested with Dawnguard, and of course, it was rigged with traps, because I don't ever get to come down here and there not be something that explodes or tries to swing out and chop my head or my little toesies off. But it also had a word wall, so I'm not, you know, not gonna complain too much. Not all was that bad. But in the end, I got shot with an arrow by Carlia, which that's the one that we thought had been betraying the guild, you know, all these years and working against it, which technically she was. She was definitely the one behind Golden Glow, but after hearing a few of their conversations and Mercer coming over and stabbing me, I think I put 2 and 2 together that Mercer was the original traitor and had just been trying to cover his tracks all these years, and of course pin the blame on her. He was the one that killed the previous guildmaster, and now it all makes a little more sense, because this guy's been sketched since the beginning. Seems like all the guilds in Skyrim have the same problem. Your leaders are corrupt and bad. That's okay though, because I'll take over. Day 157, I'm in Winterhold, talking to an old friend of Gaius's. That's the OG guildmaster. Apparently this journal of his is written in Falmer. Found it to be a little funny though that he was using their language, because those guys are blind. So yeah, they don't really need a written language, right? I mean, maybe a super ancient one, but the more recent ones, the actual Falmer, I don't think they have a written language. They can't see. Anyways, I gotta go to Markarth to decipher the journal. Looks like another wild goose chase. Oh boy, I love these. 158, I knew it was gonna take me a while to get across Skyrim to Markarth, so I decided to make a few stops along the way first. Like, you know, Whiterun, where I had a small run-in with a dragon. Fun, because I'm gonna need to reforge all my armor eventually anyway, so getting a few more dragon bones and scales, that's worth it. After this, it was back home to drop loot, and then off to Markarth. Told you, got a few, you know, stops here and there. I decided to ride my horse there instead of just using the carriage system, because sometimes it's nice to take in the scenery of Skyrim and not have to waste a whole day just riding on a carriage. But along my way, there was a random Khajiit tied up in the road. Of course, I couldn't just leave her there, so I went to untie her. But by the time I did, a skeleton had appeared, so I turned around to deal with him. Easy, of course. And by the time I turned back around, that Khajiit and my horse was gone. Starting to think that was all a big setup, and that woman just wanted to steal my horse. Great. Now I'm walking the rest of the way. Once inside, I went to talk to the wizard I had been referred to. But as I was walking up, a talking dog stopped me and ranted about a favor he needed, and you know, it was the adventure I needed or something. I don't know. I'm sure I'll get to it later. And after talking to the stubborn wizard, he said he wouldn't let me go in his museum and study his work. So I decided it was best if I just snuck in and stole it. Like a thief. Day 160, spent all day traveling back to Winterhold, because, let's be real, this stuff is just so far spread apart, and I don't really want to ride my horse everywhere, so sometimes you just gotta take that carriage system. Anyways, I wanted to discuss my findings and decrypt this journal finally and figure out what the heck's going on. Day 161, I talked to the guy that introduced me to the Thieves Guild in the first place and told him Mercer was behind everything. Of course, showed him the evidence as well. That's the whole reason we went and got the journal deciphered, was just for the sake of having evidence. Who would have thought thieves cared so much about it? Anyways, now I gotta go track down Mercer. Great. Spent the first half of this whole Thieves Guild ordeal tracking down Carlisle, and now I'm spending the second half tracking down Mercer. Certainly don't get tired of these things. 162, I was breaking into his house and seeing what his little diary had to say. Thankfully, Mercer's diary wasn't nearly as decrypted as Gallus's, which, you know, could show something about intelligence level. Just saying. Day 163, spent the whole day traveling to a small town just north of where Mercer had headed, or where I believed him to have headed. And finally, it's time. When this all ends, I'll be the head of 2 major guilds in Skyrim, as well as the Dragonborn Slayer and the Ender of Civil Wars. Pretty big title, but I'm willing to wear it. 164, I'm breaking into yet another Dwemer ruin. This time it's time to go, you know, meet up with my old Thieves Guild companions and settle some business. Seems like everybody in Skyrim uses these ancient ruins to conduct their violent business matters on the DL, which, you know, makes sense because they're all abandoned and infested with other living creatures that want to kill you. So if you, if you're trying to lure someone into a trap, it's a pretty good place. Day 165, I traveled home to, well, you guessed it, drop off extra armor and weapons once more. But this time, I'm walking away with a much better bow and sword, thanks to Mercer's whole ordeal. You know, now I have a Nightingale bow and sword, and the sword heals health, and the bow actually does more damage than any bow I've ever had before. And on day 166, I was traveling to the Twilight Sepulchre. Sepulchre? Is that? I gotta be saying that funny. Apparently I gotta go return the skeleton key thing, which I'm not gonna lie, pains me a little bit, because this key is actually like a lockpick that never breaks. So, you know, unlocking master and expert level lockpicks is really easy with this thing, but I guess I'll take it. I guess I'll do the right thing. Told you I'm still a good guy. And after a whole lot of trials, tribulations, and tombs, I finally made it to the end, became an agent of Nocturnal, and leader of the Thieves Guild. Ha ha ha. I can also use a special power once a day that allows me to go invisible for 2 minutes straight while I'm sneaking. That sounds really busted, but sure, I'll take it. And on day 167, I was looking into making some new armor, when I realized I could make special armor out of the companion Skyforge in Whiterun. Man, could you imagine if I just never came here and never discovered the fact that I could make better armor this entire time? I'd be walking around in this dragon bone stuff forever. Anyways, time to carry all my heavy dragon bones from the house all the way over to Whiterun, because I had carried them all to my new house after I moved from Whiterun. Day 168, I crafted the new armor. Since I had so many materials, I actually went ahead and made 2 helmets for myself. Well, I made a hood and a helmet. The hood I can wear while wearing my circlet, which means that I can get my archery improved from 2 head pieces of equipment. And the helmet just looks really dope, so, you know, if people want to come in and try slashing, I'll just put this on and my armor will go up. Day 169, I enchanted all the gear I just made and upgraded it at my armor workbench. I'm basically unkillable at this point and can one-hit even up to a giant. Day 170, I made my way down to Fort Dawnguard. Apparently the entrance to this place is actually just a random cave on the road south of Riften. Like, seriously, no indicator, no sign. No wonder nobody's joining the Dawnguard. Nobody knows where to go. After I made my way inside, I heard a few stories of fallen comrades and was given a mission to go check out a cave that the vampires had been interested in. Great, yeah, send your new recruit to go fight the vampires in this creepy, dark cave. Again, no wonder you don't have any people here. The next day, I spent all day crawling around through that cave, and yeah, it was swarmed with vampires and Draugr. Luckily, my new armor and enchantments on my bow one-shots everything. As long as I'm sneaking and they can't see me, I literally one-shot everything. And after reaching the artifact that everybody was looking for there at the end, I discovered that the artifact was actually a female vampire carrying an Elder Scroll. I wonder which one they were looking for. Day 172, I spent all day taking Serana back to her family, who apparently lived in the coldest, most remote part of Skyrim, super far away from Solitude. About froze to death just trying to travel out there, but luckily my knowledge of campfires had grown a ton since starting my adventures long ago. After arriving at the castle, Lord Harkon, that's Serana's dad, he thanked me and offered to turn me into a vampire as a reward. I accepted, of course, as this will make me completely undetectable as well as give me a few other bonus powers. Now I truly am Death Incarnate. Day 173, I was going to fill a blood chalice. I know it sounds evil, like it sounds purely evil, but trust me, I'm still the good guy here. I think. One side effect of being a vampire is I no longer need to eat or drink, except off of, other people, but all my food and drinks that I'd been accruing up to this point are now kind of pointless. Not gonna lie, sleeping in my tent is better than some of the inns now that I upgraded it to the largest one. I mean, this thing even has 3 beds. Day 174, pretty much spent the whole day traveling down to a farm near where the blood chalice needed to be filled. Day 175, I went down into the red water den, and apparently the water here runs red. It's not blood, it's just some special properties or some hoo-ha. The current inhabitants of the spring use it to make some special skooma, basically some special drugs in Skyrim. So, after running through and dealing with their whole operation, I managed to fill the chalice as requested. But then on my way out, I got stopped by 2 of Harkon's vampire buddies who wanted to claim filling the chalice for themselves. So, I made quick work of them too. I don't care who you are, you're not going to stand in my way. Day 176, spent all day traveling back to Vampire Castle. So far away, probably going to take me a whole nother day. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but hey, I'll take it. Anyways, I listened to Harkon's plan, which is apparently to block out the sunlight for good. Seems a little crazy and evil and villainish. So, I should probably stop him. But it does sound kind of nice now that I'm a vampire. I mean, being able to block out the sun, my stamina would regenerate in the daylight. We'll think about it. 177, spent the whole day traveling from the very northwest of Skyrim to the very northeast, out to Winterhold. I was told by Serana that the mages in the college there might have knowledge on where to find a moth priest. The people that read the Elder Scrolls. 178, finally after arriving at the College of Mages, I talked to the librarian, who apparently knows everything about everything, because anytime I need super secret information, he's the one I come talk to. Anyways, he told me there was a moth priest in Dragon's Bridge not too long ago, and yeah, you probably guessed it, Dragon's Bridge is all the way back across Skyrim by Solitude. These old dragon bones are getting weary. 179, and I'm finally all the way back across Skyrim. At least this time when I travel back and forth, I do have Serana to keep me company. Hope the wifey doesn't find out. She probably wouldn't be too happy about that. Anyways, when I arrived and finally found where the moth priest should have been, apparently, because he was supposed to be traveling, his carriage had been attacked and he'd been kidnapped. Great. Why can't anybody ever defend themselves in this world? Time to go rescue him, I guess. And after a fight through a few dummy Dawnguard dudes, I finally freed the priest. But then he lit my ass up with fireballs. That actually almost killed me. Just goes to show I could still die in this world at any point, and also don't ever trust anybody. Even if you save them, they could be a whack job. Day 180, I returned to Casa de Fangs, because they're vampires. I cracked myself up. Anyways, I brought the moth priest there to read the Elder Scrolls so we could all figure out what the heck's going on. And yeah, he basically turned around and said that we needed to find 2 more. Isn't that funny? Like I just spent several days tracking you down, finding this one. And you tell me I gotta go find 2 more. Anyways, after this I returned home to drop off my loot. And I have a feeling like this next part's gonna be pretty big, so I want to make sure to clear out everything. 181, spent the whole day traveling back to the castle. No joke, this thing's far, far away. Not like Shrek far away. Nice, cool, mystical. No, freezing, frigid, barren. Day 182, back at the castle, and now it's time to go on a stealth mission. We're looking for Serana's mother, and apparently the best place that we think that she could have hid is right here in the castle itself. She has one of the scrolls, so of course that's one place to start, and then we'll just need one more. And after a ton of sneaking through old ruined parts of the castle, we finally found her lab, which has almost every ingredient you could ever think possible in Skyrim. And yes, I totally looted everything. Then after gathering some carefully crafted ingredients and adding a little vampire blood to a magic portal cauldron thing, ba-bam! We have a portal to another dimension. Apparently this is the Soul Cairn? I'm not quite sure. This is where all the souls go when they get trapped into a soul gem and then used thereafter. Gotta say, first Sovereign Guard, now this Soul Cairn place. I'm just a multi-dimensional traveling dragon slaying vampire badass at this point. 183, spent the whole day tracking down 2 of those keeper things that Serana's mom had been telling me about, because apparently this place is just a little trippy on how it works. You gotta go take out the keepers who keep the big portal alive. It's a whole big goose chase. But apparently these keepers are souls equipped with dragon bone armor and weapons. Nice. This loot is, well, free and really expensive. Also, it's pretty easy to get distracted in this realm because, well, there's awesome loot everywhere. Soul gems just drop out of the regular enemies, and all the chests that I find have incredible treasure. Day 184, I'm still in the Soul Cairn. This place is massive, and a little confusing because I can't use a world map and I can't use my teeny tiny map. I hope I can return here later and finish everything I'm missing, because I definitely feel like I'm missing stuff. Anyways, after slaying the final keeper, I doubled back and slayed the reaper. Look at that, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Well, I should become a bard when I go into retirement, because my song making abilities is... Anyways, after returning to Serana's mom, she was leading us to the Elder Scroll when that big undead dragon that she kept talking about that guarded this realm tried to stop us. But with a few swift arrows to that dragon's side, he was defeated just as every other foe in my journeys. Quick, from the shadows. After looting around his place for a little bit, the dragon stopped me on my way out and told me I could call him back in Skyrim in order to, release him. That's pretty much his only request. So, yeah, now I have an undead dragon that can come fight for me. And on day 185, I'm finally leaving the Soul Cairn. Maybe one day I'll return and let Serana's mom out because she said she didn't want to come out until Harkon's defeated, and obviously he's still alive. Anyways, after making my way back to the Moth Priest minion, I discovered the poor fool caused himself to go blind. That's what you get for reading an Elder Scroll without some super big glasses. 186, and I'm back home to drop off the countless soul gems I'd got from the Soul Cairn. And also the glade I needed was near my house, so it was just kind of convenient. And after entering the glade and stripping some trees, ooh la la, and luring some moths around a beam of light that had appeared after, stripping the trees and gathering bark and walking around. Well, when I stood in it, it allowed me to read an Elder Scroll. This is some really good instructions here, like very specific. After discovering the location of the ancient bow, I was attacked by a bunch of Dawnguard fools. Like out of nowhere. How did y'all even get here? And how did I not hear you coming into the cave with those big trolls? I guess they thought I'd been helping the vampires since, well, it definitely seems that way. 187, spent majority of my day traveling to Darkfall Cave. Of course, when my stamina doesn't regen due to, sunlight being out and random dragons keep attacking me, because, whatever, some things come up and delay me, After reaching the cave and slaying my way through a few trolls, I found a real non-blind snow elf. That's right, he's like a Falmer, but he's civilized and can see. Told me about his brother and how he'd become corrupted, blah 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 blah. In order to get the bow, I have to go through some trial and take out his brother, so I guess that's what I'm off to do. And on 188, it felt like I traveled to a whole nother dimension. I don't think it was. I think it was just, a different geographic location near Skyrim, but anyways. I was gonna go complete this initiate training shenanigans and gain access to the main temple thing. Turns out, the trial starts out in a trippy cave full of weird purple roots that grow everywhere. And after a lot of roaming through the cave, I found the first place to fill the chalice. Man, if it takes me this long to find all the places to fill the chalice, this is going to take forever. And finally, I entered into a place called the Vale, which honestly was really cool. The creatures here were completely mystical, and the landscape was, well, breathtaking. You won't see this anywhere else in Skyrim. 189, and I'm still in the Vale. Looking for all these shrines is actually fun and annoying at the same time. Weird how that works, huh? Anyways, after miles and miles of clearing Falmer and climbing over icebergs, I finally made my way to the last shrine, which had been fully surrounded with Falmer tents and honestly looked like they had been praying to it themselves a little bit. Finally, I was granted access to the temple and made my way through its frozen ruins, which, not gonna lie, was creepy because it just had a whole bunch of frozen Falmer that would randomly pop up and try and attack you. When I reached the end, it turned out the Snow Elf's brother was actually the one controlling the Falmer and sent several waves at me like he was some brainiac bad guy. But once I defeated them, he freaked out and exploded everything, then ran off to a courtyard, where we had the longest battle I've had, well, a while. Yep, it lasted a whole 15 seconds. Almost had to use a potion. This guy really almost got me there. Turns out he was a vampire himself, and he had made the prophecy of the blood and the bow for his own purposes. So, yeah, isn't that a little bit of a whole big loop? Finally, after the Snow Elf saga was tied up, I talked to the OG Snow Elf. Not only did he give me Ariel's bow, the thing that we've been trying for this entire time, but he also gave me some special arrows that cause beams of sunlight to light my enemies ablaze. You know, when I hit them, kind of like a sunlight grenade. So that's pretty cool. Day 190, I'm back home to drop off all my new unique armor and admire my collection. And come on, I have Mirak just standing there. Now I have a Snow Elf armor. Stuff's cool. So many valuable trinkets, and they're all mine to hoard. Because I'm obviously not going to sell them, and well, they're not as good as my current equipment.
Hello, my love.
Day 191, I spent all day traveling back to the Vampire Castle, and it's time to confront Lord Harkon once and for all. This time I have a new toy. 192, by the time we got back to Harkon, he was full-blown vampire mode and ready to fight. Apparently he suspected we had turned against him, which, you know, makes sense for how long we were gone and the fact that, you know, he's probably got vampire scouts out there. It makes sense he was ready to fight me. Anyways, a few waves of minions and sunlight grenades later, I managed to defeat the old bat and claim his blade and castle for myself. With this out of the way, my next objective was to complete the prophecy. I want to see what happens, you know, when I coat an arrow and some vampire blood and shoot it at the sun. What really goes on there, you know? 193, I'm down in Whiterun because I needed some elven arrows and if I was going to dip them in some of Serana's blood. Don't worry, she gave me permission. This isn't some sacrificial thing or nothing like that. And after this, I'm shooting them into the sky. Next thing I know, the whole thing is blood red. And, well, we have something that looks kind of like the Eye of Mordor covering the sun. Not only that, but even though it's daylight, my stamina is regenerating and I don't have any of the regular negative side effects of being a vampire in sunlight. So, yeah, it basically makes it dark when it's day, but not dark because it's still light out. I wonder how long this lasts, because if it's all day, that's kind of nice for one arrow, you know what I mean? It's well worth it. 194, I returned to Riften. I forgot that after I did the whole trial thing for the Thieves Guild and put the skeleton key back, I never actually went back to the guild to talk to Brynwolf and tell him, like, hey, I'm done. He basically just said congrats with a pat on the back. No reward. That was it. What a wasted trip. Time to go home. 195, I decided that I wanted to try and hit level 50 by day 200. That would end up equating to a total 1 level per 4 days, which, you know, not too shabby if you ask me, given I, you know, didn't do any restoration loops or duplication glitches. You know, it's pretty good. After a little bit of enchanting on some special potion crafting armor though, because, you know, I'm not going to make it into a loop, but I'll do it at least once, and smashing some ingredients together, I managed to hit 50. Yep, like level 50. That was actually really easy. I knocked it out all in the morning time. I think it was all the potions of invisibility for 69 seconds that really helped. The game gave me a little bit extra experience for that one. After this, I traveled up to Solitude. I want to see about getting a house up there. Consider it a little vacation home, you know? Day 196, apparently all my accolades mean nothing here in Solitude because they still won't sell me a house. I've done everything imaginable, but no, they want a personal favor. What am I, Dragonborn for hire? Anyways, after breezing through the cave that they wanted, I discovered a few necromancers trying to raise some lady, Potema, or Potema, not sure. She wasn't entirely happy about it, and neither was I, so I took them out just to appease the people that had sent me there. And yeah, then after that it was... And before lunch, it was back there to settle on the house that I wanted. Or not, because now apparently the Jarl has some favor to ask me. I'd be a bit angrier if it actually wasn't a pretty good reasoning behind it, so whatever. 197, I just made a short trip to right outside Whiterun, and I was placing the horn the Jarl had given me at the shrine, calling it a day. But conveniently, when I did, 2 Thalmor agents came out of nowhere to attack me. It's okay though, because my arrows rode the freedom of religion train straight into those dirty elves' face holes. Don't tell me who I can and can't sacrifice things to. Anyways, back to Solitude, and after a short chat with the Jarl, the Firebeard guy finally sold me the house. Fantastic. Also charged me out the wazoo to decorate it, like apparently when you buy a house in Solitude, it doesn't come with normal bedroom stuff. Cheapskates. But the house is really nice and will be a great place to store my stuff when I'm on the north side of Skyrim. 198, there's just one last bit of, little piece that I need to tie up before retiring. Traveled just south of there actually to an old fort. Yep, I'm going back to Fort Dawnstar. But when I walked into the fort, I was immediately greeted with hostility and crossbows. So I slayed everyone in the fort and realized that Isran himself couldn't actually be slayed and never could be convinced, so I guess he's just gonna live alone in that fort for the rest of his days. Day 199, I'm finally back home. One last loop drop and reminiscing on the journeys I'd overcome. Everything from a stop in a civil war and bringing down the head honcho dragon himself, to my more recent escapades of taking over the Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, Ancient Vampire Cult, and basically saving the world 3 times over. Oh, and let's not forget, I stopped the OG Dragonborn from returning and seeking to rule the world. Man, it's been fun, and I've definitely accomplished a lot in the last 100 days. And I didn't think my armor or weapon could get any better after the first 100 days, but now I'm able to one-shot literally everything. 3 quick shots up and close and personal to anything that does see me. Takes them out as well, so yeah, I'd say pretty great run as an adventurer in Skyrim, and above all else, I never once took an arrow to the knee. Day 200, it's back to Solitude. Time to start a little vacation there and enjoy the waves and the water. Totally not cheat on my wife with